Hello students, welcome back to Mr. Laver's Computing Lessons. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using Microsoft Publisher, and we're going to create a portfolio of all the paintings that we've done. But remember, we're here to learn, so before we start doing that, we need to have a quick understanding of Microsoft Publisher, what it is and why we're using it. I'm going to get Publisher open. So to do that, we'll hit the flag key, we'll go P, U, and Publisher pops up, push the enter, and Microsoft Publisher opens, actually on the wrong screen, but there we go. Okay, we'll choose a blank A4 landscape piece of paper, and I'm going to maximize this. Right, so we'll just get this in the center here. A little bit smaller so that we can see it. And okay, right. So now, so I've got some things I just want to cover before we actually start doing some work. So Microsoft Publisher, it's a desktop publishing program which is shortened to DTP. And the purpose of Microsoft Publisher and the difference with Microsoft Word, because the reason I'm talking about this is because these two programs, you can do sort of the same thing, but you really want to choose the correct one. So anyway, Microsoft Publisher is used for the accurate layout of objects, and Microsoft Word is a text editor, and it's used for creating documents, reading documents with lots of words in them, e.g. a book or a letter. Both of these applications are mainly intended for printing onto paper. So that's why when you open up Publisher and when you open up Microsoft Word, you're given this piece of paper with which to create your document on. So whether it be Word or Publisher, you both get a piece of paper. I say they're mainly intended because you are able to email through Word, and you probably can do it through Publisher too. Right, both of the applications can do layout and text, but if you use the correct application for the job that you're using, for the job that you want to do, then you're going to find it easier and it's going to produce a better result. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making a sort of a poster or a portfolio. We've got our paintings that we've already done, and we're going to lay them out and we're going to make it look nice. And so Publisher is a much better option than what Word is, so that's why we're using Publisher. Okay, so that's all we need to know about Publisher. Remember, if anybody asks, Publisher is used for layout. So that's why we're using Publisher. Okay, now we need to set up Publisher to start with. And so first of all, let's go to Page Design, and we've already sort of chosen it, but you need to make sure that the page that we've got here is the page that we want. So we're going to be using an A4 size piece of paper, because that's what we would be printing out on. That's what the printer prints, and so that's what we want. And we're going to use the orientation landscape, which is, you could use either landscape or portrait, but I would rather use landscape. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Now the next thing to know is that we've got to be thinking about the printing out process, and what I'm going to tell you is that often printers don't print right to the edge of the page. So for example, if we have something, we'll just get a line, an arrow, and we put it right up to the edge of the page, and we want that to print out there. Well, a lot of printers don't actually print right to the end of the page, edge of the page. So we need to be aware of that, and we need to fix that up. And you can see this blue line around here. This is called a guide. And what this guide does is we can set this guide to the edge of where our printing edge is. So I'm going to show you a little trick now. We're going to start off with a little trick, and I'm going to show you how to know where your page prints to the edge of the page. And it's a little bit of trial and error, but what we'll do is we'll just go and insert, and I'm going to use this shape here, which is a diamond, and I'm going to make it fill up the entire page from edge to edge. And so when I do that, my points are right now on the edge of the page. Okay, so I'm just moving that to right to the edge of the page, and then all we need to do now is go File, Print, and it produces a preview here, and you can see here that it's not going to print out those points because they're too close to the edge of the paper. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back, and we're going to set this blue line here, these guides, to print up to where the page prints. Now actually, before I do that, what I'm going to do is, I should have said this before, is I'm going to bring this point back to the points back to where I think, or hopefully where the edge of our printing is. Okay, so it's a little bit of trial and error, and once we've got it in the correct place, I'll just do the bottom one as well. Then we go back and we do it again, File, Print, and you can see now we're actually printing, all of them are printing except for that bottom one is still slightly, the edge is still slightly not printing. So anyway, that's going to be close enough for me. So now we know where the printing edge is. What we need to do is we need to get this blue line, this guide, out to the edge here. So we'll go Page Design, choose Guides, drop right, come right down to the bottom where it says Grid and Baseline Guides, and then we've got some tabs here. We're going to choose Margin Guides, and the margin is the outside edge here, and once again it's just going to be a little bit of guesswork, and I'm going to put in 0.3, this is centimeters, and you may need to change this, but for me I'm pretty certain that 0.3 will suit the printer that I'm printing on. And actually I will need to show you a little trick soon too. So once I've got them all set at 0.3, we're going to go OK, and you can now see that the blue line here, the guide, has moved right up to the points of the shape there that I've got. Something I should have said before is when you go File, Print, make sure that you choose the right printer, because every printer is going to print to a different place on your paper. So I forgot to tell you that, but you need to make sure that you've chosen the correct printer. Okay, so I know that blue diamond there is going to print, and I've set my blue guides to the points on the diamond. So now I can delete that diamond, the guides will stay there, and I know that I can put objects. So if we have a shape, I can put that shape right up to that blue line, and I know that it's going to print. Okay, right, now what we will do now is we need to get our pictures on our page that we're going to be actually making the portfolio. So we'll go Insert, we're going to go Pictures, and you need to find your pictures. Now I'll show you the pictures that I want you to choose, and that's the butterflies one that we did. We've done the first house, we've done the silhouette, and we've done the vanishing point. So choose these, and if you like you can select the whole lot and go insert. Yep, we'll just go insert like that, and then they're all going to appear. And then actually that's very good, because that was a little trick there. They've all appeared at the same size. Okay, so now we can place them around our screen. It does make them easy when they're all the same size, and does make it easy when all the pictures are the same size, because one of the points of this exercise, or your objectives of this exercise, is to have your poster looking neatly presented. And if all your pictures are the same size, then you can get some coordination and some order on your poster. So that was a good way of doing it, inserting them all at the same time. So what I need to do now is decide how I'm going to lay these out. So I've got sort of two here roughly the same colour, and I've got another two which is they're quite different. So either I could perhaps put the two the same colour up the top and the other ones down the bottom, or possibly we could make them balance each other up like that. And actually I think that's the way I might do it. So what I'm going to do now is now the way you guys do this, that's up to you. There's not going to be any rules, but as long as your poster is looking good at the end of this. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. First of all, my pictures are too small. So rather than resize each of them and then getting them all different sizes, there's two ways I can do this so that we end up with them all exactly the same size. And that is to select them all, and I can choose a corner and they should all come out at the same size. Now always choose a corner, because that keeps your aspect ratio the same. If you choose a side piece or a top piece, then the pictures are going to be distorted. Okay, so choose a corner, we can pull it out like that, and that's looking pretty good. Maybe they're not all the same size. That one there doesn't look to be the same size as that. Maybe they're all the same width, but they're different heights. That looks to be what the case is there. Okay, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge and something that we need to fix, or we need to find a way of resolving it. Okay, right, so now I've done that, that's looking good. Right, so let's arrange these. So I'm going to put this one right down the bottom there by that guide. I'm going to put this one down here. Now when I do this, it hasn't actually worked. Okay, that's fine. We'll leave that like that. It seems that they're all exactly the same width, but the heights are different. And the pictures are still not the right size, so I'm going to make them a bit bigger, maybe a bit smaller, just about that big. And if I select both of those, we can drag these over at the same time. Now I've got these ones, yeah, that's good. This one here is, now if you see how the red line is showing, that means that it's aligned with that other picture. So I'm going to leave it like that. That will mean that my tops are aligned, and that will look good. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to do something that you should never do, and now I'm going to distort this picture, but it should be alright. I think that's alright. You don't want to do that. and I think we might be able to do it with this one too, which is going to give me all my pictures the same size, and that's excellent. It's going to look a lot better. Okay, alright, so that's looking good. So what we need now is we need a title. So I'm going to go Insert, Word Art. I'm going to just choose one of these up the top here, and we're going to say Mr. Lavers computing class, and I'll leave it at that font. You can choose a different font if you like, but that one will suit me, and it's going to appear there. Now I'm going to put that across the top of the page, just expand it out a little bit. I think that's looking good. Now what I can do here, you see the center of this box here, we really want that to be the center of the page. So what I can do is I can go back to the guides, page design guides, and grid and baseline guides again, and if I make 2 columns, what that's going to do is it's going to give me a center line there and make it easy to line this up with. So now I click on that, and now I can see that it's not quite in the center, so I'm going to use my arrow keys just to move it along and perhaps up a little bit, and I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, right, the next thing that we need to have now is I'd like another title. So this time I'm going to go Insert, choosing Word Art again. I'm going to choose this one down here. Once again, you can choose whichever one you like, and we need to be saying that this is the Paint Graphics module, and that's given us a little bit of a fancy type writing there. We'll leave it like that, and once again we need to get it in the center of the page for good balance. And then the final thing that I want you guys to do, you can add to this if you want, you can put more in it if you like, but this is the minimum that you must have, is to have a your name in it. So what we'll do down here is we'll say Digital Art Paintings by, and then you can put your name here. So I'll just put I'm going to type your name here. Oops, that should have said put your name here. Okay, and I'm going to select that. I'm going to make it larger so you can actually read it, because you're probably having trouble reading it at the moment. A little bit smaller. Oops, it's going the wrong way. Put your name here, and then I'm going to center that so that it looks better, and I think that we'll leave that like that. Just make sure that that's center, come over a little bit with my arrow keys. That's the sort of thing. Right, so I've got a bit of a problem, I've just realized, because what I want to do now is I want to put a border around this, and so to do that we're going to have a shape. We're going to choose a rectangle, and that rectangle, it needs to go just inside the blue line to make sure that it prints, and then we will need to go format. We're on format here. What do we need to do? I need to right click it, and we need to go format auto shape. Now we're going to do some fill effects here. So we're going to have no fill, color no fill, and then some fill effects, and I'm going to use a, let's have a look, a gradient. That might get a bit difficult. I'm going to use a pattern fill and just something nice and simple, like not too dark, so I'll probably go that one. No, maybe that one. Yep, we'll leave it like that, and we'll go OK. And then finally we're going to have some border art and choose something nice that's going to work. So we'll choose what have we got? Choose that one there, and that looks good, and we'll go OK. We're going to OK that. Now the problem is here that we can't see anything, so what we need to do is we need to send it to the background. So we've got to send backward there, or I could right click, and we've got some options here. So I'm going to go send backward, and again, and again, and again, 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 and again, and now it's right in the back. So that's looking good. Unfortunately though, what's happened is I've put these pictures too close to the edge. So using the control key, I can select both of them. Using my arrow keys, I can come in. I really need to come right in there. Actually, this is not very good. So you guys, your picture's going to be different from this one, but as long as you have got balanced presentation, that's what I'm looking for. And we're going to have some problems here trying to fit everything in. It's okay, I think we can do that. Okay, so this is looking alright, but I've just got some text to fix up. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to put this text against my white background. Going to have to make it much smaller. And hopefully that should fit that. Always make sure that any text that you guys have got is readable. Okay, so one of the ways you can do that is you can use, in this case I've used black or a dark text against a light background. If you have a dark background, then use light text. Okay, so let me see, I'm just trying to fix this up. And I've got to fix this up because you can see the problem we've got here. We've got a dark background and dark text, so it makes it difficult to read. So what I'm going to have to do here, I'm going to have to change the color of the font or the text. So let's see, we'll just try right clicking on it and we'll go format word art, and here we go. We will choose white. That should be okay. And we might put it right down the bottom there. This one is not great either, because at the top here we've got white at the background and we've got white text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these down a bit and try to fit this in this darker type background, and I think that looks not too bad. Okay, so let's just fix this up a little bit more. I think that it needs to be let me see, no, it's not good. Yeah, edit text, that's the one. So I'm going to maybe use slightly smaller. I think we might just leave it at that. It's not great. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Another little trick that what we can do is we can go in here, increase the transparency of it, and hopefully that should, there we go. So what I've done there is I've made it that text slightly transparent, which allows us to see what's happening behind us. In fact, I might even go a little bit more, format word art, increase the transparency a bit more. We'll see what that looks like. There we go. Okay, so, whoops, we need to fix this up. There we go. Okay, so there we go, you guys. I would like you to create something similar to that. Make sure the layout is good. It needs to be neat and even. Make sure that your text is spelt correctly, that you've got the titles, and what I'm really judging you on here is your presentation and the way that you've used Publisher, some of the things that you've done in it. Okay, so if you guys could do that and hand your work in, and we'll see you in the next video.